Hello viewers and welcome back to World of Tanks gameplay commentaries by me, Spang. Right now we are starting the 9.4 replays off with something a little bit different. I don't bring you guys that many bat chat games. And this is actually a replay submission from my buddy 228, part of the Anvil clan. He's platooned up with Canuck 123, part of the Forge gaming community. And I know these guys, or at least I know 228 from back in my Forge days, and he's a decent player. As you can tell, in the 9.4 client version, I actually do have some mods installed. He's got, looks like a little bit of heat rounds here, and as for those of you who do not know, the Bat Chat does have a 5-round magazine. I believe the average damage is 390 per shot. Yes, 390 damage per shot, 259 average penetration. The Bat Chat functions very much like a 1390, like most of the French autoloaders. Very little armor and a lot of DPM, at least burst damage. And that goes for pretty much every autoloader in the game. You have a lot of damage really quickly, then you have to run away and reload your mag. But right here, he's trying to get shots off on this IS-8. The IS-8 just ever so annoyingly ducking behind that rock and taking up a very good sniping position. I'm kind of surprised to see that his Bat Chat does not have camo paint, and I'm wondering if his Bat Chat crew has camo crew training. I know the Bat Chat has a good, decently good camo rating, as they oftentimes disappear and are hard to find. Right here, 1390 and a Leopard PTA. The Leopard PTA getting shot. 1390 looking like he might get around put into him if he just pulls a little bit forward. And as you can tell on the minimap now with this mod installed, I am currently using Solo's mod pack and a very few select features from the mod pack. That shows you, for one, on the left-hand side, if you will take notice, it shows you what tanks have been damaged by the player. And the minimap, it shows you the last spotted locations of all enemy tanks that have been spotted. And right there, as you can tell, I just put for, in little bells and whistles, that spotting mechanic and the Unreal Tournament voice sound effects. So first blood going to that player. It looks like the T110 E4 did manage to get the kill shot on that Waffentrager E100, otherwise known as the Waffle Monster or the Franken-Waffle, whatever you want to call it. And clearly, we can see 228 has 6th sense on this Bat Chat and doing his very best to take out this IS-8, but he knows he's spotted and he knows he should probably get moving. One thing worth noting, there is no artillery in this match, so that makes it a somewhat free reign for a lot of players. This enemy team doing their best to hold them at that line, but there's no point in our team trying to pull them forward because they will have no artillery support, as is per the usual. It looks like 228's team is solidly taking the middle and north right there. There's a lot around those hills, but not too much in the south around that pass. So the enemy team, if they decide to push it, could probably overwhelm it, but they don't know that for sure. And it looks like the Canuck down there is doing his very best to help, you know, their team take that flank, but at the moment they're focused more on holding it. Also, one other thing worth noting is if you look up top, there is a hit point counter that lets you know how many hit points are on each team. So currently 228's team in the lead of hit points and in the lead with kills. So very good, boding very well for his team at the moment. This IS-8 is all but gonna die right here. I'm not sure he's even gonna be able to back up in time, getting 2 rounds put into him and suffering near death. 228 managed to get for nothing but a track there, and it was an APCR round from that Leopard PTA. The APCR on most tier 10 medium tanks is standard, as well as a lot of light tanks nowadays. So it's really not uncommon to see APCR being slung around as a standard round without it actually costing as much as a premium. And if you're like, what's the difference between APCR and AP? Well, there's this thing called shell normalization, right? And when your shell impacts a tank, there is an angle that goes into calculating its effective armor. APCR rounds actually kind of, once they hit, angle a bit more to be closer to that 90-degree, reducing that effective armor. So that shell normalization actually helps APCR get through sloped armor more effectively. AP and APCR function the same if fired against a flat up and down target, but when angles are added in, APCR is more effective shot for shot. And this IS-8 just driving out in the open, and he is certainly going to die. There we go. 228 getting his first kill of the match. Looks like Canuck and the South in general doing very poorly for themselves. Although, I don't know, Canuck is... They've actually looks like managed to take that, to my surprise. There was a T110E3 up there, and the T110E3 is no slouch of a vehicle. But he is still almost dead, and I'm certain that once his team saw that that E3, forgive me, that they started loading premium shells. And that's not an uncommon approach. When you see a tank that you know is hard to penetrate, that your shells don't really have that great of a chance of getting through on the normal, that you should probably load premium. 228 doing a very good job of recognizing his team's play. He is still at full health. And he says, you know what, here I come to save the day. The Bat Chat is often equivalent to, or at least drawn the equivalent to being Batman. And right there you get just immediately 2 kills. That E100 firing heat, not uncommon for an E100 with that 15 centimeter cannon to be firing heat rounds. And 228 managing to get himself 3 kills. So that 1390 last spotted up at that flank, 228 falling back to maybe cut him off. The enemy team's last hold certainly being held off in the north. And right there, the 1390, like I said, going off on that south flank, seeing an opportunity to possibly rush to the enemy's base, 228's base, and in a vague, hope, a very slight hope of capturing out 228 being the only friendly ally far enough back, and he is now loaded, ready to encounter that 1390. That 1390 thought, oh, I can take a Bat Chat that's almost dead. I mean, he's only got 433 health left, but 228 just had the superior positioning, managing to take him out very easily. And 4 kills for 228, 9-8, and the hit point difference actually favoring the enemy team at this point. So they have a solid chance to actually pull this game around and win it. The enemy Bat Chat, 228's equivalent, his nemesis, I guess you could call it, is doing just as well for himself with 4 kills. And this Leopard PTA in the center just taunting 228, the fact that he is currently loading his clip and unable to do anything to save his T49 ally is probably killing him at the moment. His friendly ISU moving up in a hope that he'll eventually get there and be able to take him out. Leopard PTA looking like he has spotted 228, and 228 certainly within kill range, but that Leopard PTA getting taken out just in the nick of time. 228 recognizing he has to load when he can right now. He wants to have a full clip as much as possible. The enemy Bat Chat also managing to get a kill, so it is 5 for 5 between the 2 Bat Chats, and it is certainly a competition at this point. The enemy Bat Chat not doing too well in health for himself either, although he's certainly better off than 228 here. And it looks like that T34 also a 2-shot and not doing too well. That STA1 barely hanging on to dear life. And that T57 last spotted around that T34's location. There he is, near full health, and that is a nightmare for 228 at this point. He just wants to get in. Oh, RNG coming in to save the day. Just that angling, managing to ricochet a shot off the Bat Chat's almost non-existent armor, and he recognizes he has to get out of that line of sight before it is too late. He is a possible one-shot for that T57 Heavy. If he high rolls, the maximum damage a T57 Heavy can do is 500, average of 400, and you never want to bring in that sort of thing to play, especially if you notice the colors along the sides there. Oh, I did not even notice. Evil Rob with Forge is that T49 player, so there's quite a bit of the Forge clan action in this match. But the Forge clan looks like they are trying to make a comeback. For those of you wondering, when I left them, they were pretty much dead, but it looks like they got some leadership in there, and they are trying to make a comeback and get players active and get back on the map as a whole. However, all my friends I made in Forge did move over to Evil Gaming and other clans as well, but a good chunk of them moved over to Evil Gaming, so I kind of just moved with them, and that was the great migration. But anyway, back to the match. A very solid game, and like I was going to say, those color codings of the names on the side, and when I pull this up, you see the color codes there. That is XVM. The closer you are to the right-hand end of the spectrum, the blues and the purples, the better. The closer you are to the reds, oranges, and yellows, not so much. I mean, yellow is pretty decent, but especially if you're a 50 like 228 here, and he's certainly proving that he knows what he's doing well enough. I played with him in matches and platoons, and he definitely can pull his own weight and then some. So his XVM, his win 8, certainly not completely reflective of his actual skill. But right here, this ISU doing the good job of going forward first, taking the shot because he knew he had the hit points, and this T-34 is all but done for. And at this point, that enemy Batchat is the largest threat. The T-34 about to try and take out this ISU. 228 really needing to get in there at this point and save his ally. There we go. But I don't know if it's going to be enough. That ISU is pretty out in the open, and that enemy Batchat might be able to take him out. Right now, 228's almost out of ammo. He has to load heat in order to guarantee he has a full clip. And it is 7 kills to 9 kills. So that enemy Batchat certainly being the MVP for the enemy team, part of the Parax clan. I'm not even familiar with that clan as a whole. And that Batchat looking like he will eliminate that ISU very shortly here. But for those of you who do not know, it is commonly, there is a thing among the top tier players, or not necessarily top tier players, but the players who have been around the game long enough who have seen the numbers and read the evidence that RNG isn't completely random. At least we don't believe so. We tend to notice that it favors lower rated players with worse stats more frequently than players with higher stats, and there have been tests and just number crunching done on this, and the math supports it. So it looks like at least you know that wargaming kind of does support the worst player. So what I was going to say earlier on that was that T-57 Heavy, when I was commenting about his average damage and his top damage, the fact is he was an orange player, so he is statistically more likely to high roll than low roll, which means he could have very more likely than not killed 228 in one shot, taken all 433 of his hit points if he managed to get a shot out for him. But luckily for us, due to the absolutely insane angling, the downward angle that the T-57 was firing from, plus the slant that 228 had his Batchat on, plus the fact he was moving, made it ricochet completely off of his tank, saving him from any sort of early demise that could have prevented him from winning this match for his team. The hit points, that enemy Batchat clearly only having 895 left, as indicated by that little thing on the side. And it looks like 228 has already achieved high caliber. If you notice on the left hand side, his total damage 5,350, and at the top he needs 5,330 to get high caliber, so already achieving that. And the ISU bravely going on the capture circle. 228 just doing his best to look out for that enemy Batchat. I'm assuming he has a mod pack installed to where he can tell that enemy Batchat was last spotted around Delta 7, Delta 8, right in between on that grid line, and just trying his best to anticipate that Batchat's actions and keep his friendly ISU alive. But it has certainly been a battle for the Batchats, and it is 7-9, both of them playing exceptionally well. The two of them being the only reason this match was even remotely close whatsoever. But unfortunately for the enemy Batchat, he is outnumbered, and that ISU does have a slight chance to high roll and one-shot him, because that ISU does have the BL-10, and the BL-10 can high roll into the 900s of damage. Right there, the enemy Batchat slightly low rolling 386, leaving 228 alive with 47 hit points. He's got to make every shot count. That enemy Batchat can take him out in one shot, and he has to play this very cautiously. His friendly ISU certainly knows where that enemy Batchat is, and he is more than likely posturing his gun to aim in that direction. But the Batchat will manage to take him out before the ISU can get a shot off. Think about Batchats. You cannot hesitate to take a shot at them. If you have any sort of ability to shoot them before they shoot you, because more likely than not, you'll penetrate. Batchats are certainly not known for their armor. They're known for their speed and high damage per clip. They have close to 2,000 damage in their magazine. On average, of course. I'm always speaking in averages, because that's what you kind of have to judge it on, based on average damage. And so they can kill pretty much any tier 9 vehicle, and a lot of tier 10 vehicles, even if they high roll 1 or 2 shots within one clip. So they certainly should be feared for their damage, and they certainly should be priority targets, especially because you are very likely to get through their armor no matter what tier you are. Even if you're like a tier 7 or 5, I think even tier 5 has a decent chance to get through them. Tier 1 could probably get through them if they shot through them in the right spot. Right here, 228 just trying to cautiously, enemy Batchat spotted right there, one shot for free, and he cannot kill him in one hit. So the enemy Batchat is certainly a 2-hit kill at this point, and he is a one shot, and he's firing heat rounds. So that's a little bit beneficial, but the thing about heat rounds is they explode on the first thing they hit. So if they hit on armor they can penetrate, you do your full damage, that's great. The hit on tracks or spaced armor, not so much. So this enemy bat chat saying, I'm out. Only 24 seconds left in the match and almost no ammo left here for 228. He has 6 rounds total, but that is more than enough to finish off this enemy bat chat who has 10 kills. He has 7 kills and it is down to the last little bit. Oh, missed a shot. That's the last thing he needed right here. The enemy bat chat looking like he's reloading, trying for the ram kill, but it will not work. There we go. He might have been out of ammo due to the number of kills he had, and I'm certain the amount of damage he dealt. That enemy bat chat, oh, that's what he meant when he said he was out. He meant he was out of ammo, and I think 228 in the chat said, I am too. And so I think 228 probably thought he was bluffing, and the enemy bat chat might have thought he was being sincere, but at the same time, he thought, you know what, he's such low health, and I can take one hit. I might be able to ram him to death. So that enemy bat chat certainly saying, you know, a loss, a chance at a win. A chance at a win is better than a draw. And you know what? When you have a chance to win versus drawing it out, I always go for the chance to win. There are those who are more cautious who say, you know what, I'll take a draw over a possibility of a loss. But as long as there is a reasonable chance to expect a win, I will always go for the chance to win. Because I don't know, I kind of like to play it risky. I don't gamble, but World of Tanks, you know, with its, when the odds are against me, is when the game really starts getting fun. But anyway, I feel I've rambled on long enough. Let's go to those post-game stats and see exactly how these two bat chats actually did. Alright, and here we go, seeing Top Gun and Bradley Walters medal. Of course we knew he earned those badges, but due to the number of kills he got, and the amount of damage he did was rather respectable. Now, I did go back and look at the very end scene there and see what was said in the chat. So the enemy bat chat did say, I'm out of ammo, I'll give you the win. And if I was in 228's position, I don't know how much I'd trust that. The ISU said, yeah, right. Because the ISU was clearly skeptical, and rightly so. I mean, how often can you trust what the enemy tank says? Not very, but it seems like he was being sincere. Even though he did try to go for the ram kill, it might have been a ploy in a sense. Because if he sincerely was just going to quote-unquote give him the win, he wouldn't have made any effort to ram him. So I think the enemy bat chat was playing a little bit of a mind game, but at the same time just didn't want to draw it. So I don't know, it's hard to judge people's intentions in this game. Oh, there we go. That's a bit better of a scroll, isn't it? 228 and the enemy bat chat being very similar, just a little bit of difference in damage, a little more than 500 difference between the two of them, and very close kill count. But when it comes down to just performance overall, looks like that Puma player, kind of surprising there. I've had some bad run-ins with Puma players, let me just be upfront about that. And so it looks like he actually did rather well for himself. The two Forge players were both running in T49s, doing kind of respectable for scout tanks. I mean, let's be honest, a T49 does have that derp gun, but you can't always expect a scout tank to do exceptionally well for himself. I mean, look at that 1390 on the enemy team, 0 damage. That other 1390, 783. So scout tanks can be effective if played right and given the right opportunities. That T34 doing rather well for himself, though. It looks like that enemy bat chat had more competent players on his team. I'm just gonna say, well, the damage was a lot more concentrated to a fewer number of players. That E3 doing very well for himself, that E100 doing very well for himself. The T34, definitely so. Damage a bit more spread out on 228's team, although that Puma player certainly being responsible for a good chunk of it. Still, overall, 27 shots fired, 25 hits, and 20 pens. And losing a bit of cash there, but mostly due to the fact that, well, he was firing heat at the end, and he's not running premium, and it is a tier 10 vehicle. Tier 10s are very hard to make cash on, especially if you are not running a premium account. You see here, he would have made money if he was running a premium account, but if we look at the win 8 score for this match, over 8,400. Just for the record, Super Unicum on win 8, for an average win 8, is, I believe, like 2,900. So very well performed overall. I'm just kind of curious here. Enemies detected. He detected one enemy, a little bit of damage due to his assistance, a lot of driving, but that's to be expected with mediums and light tanks. And overall, just very well played. ×3 experience, so he got over 2,000 experience, earning over 6,000. That was certainly welcome. Although, I don't know, tier 10s, it's kind of one of those things. What do you use the experience for? It goes to your crew, for one. But two, do you do accelerated crew training, or do you just accumulate it and use it to convert, spend some gold on the game, and get some converted experience? It's up to you. But anyway, very well played, and like I said, I kind of wanted to bring you guys something a little bit different. And just as a reminder, from the 9.4 replays, it is going to be a bit more of a selective process, so I am going to start turning down replay submissions. Not in a sense that I'm going to look at the game stats and say this isn't good enough. I will do a review of the game, and by that I mean I'm going to look at it and commentate it, and that's going to be my review at the end of the commentary. If I feel it is a good enough quality to upload to my channel, it will be uploaded. If not, you will certainly receive a response email thanking you for your submission, but just letting you know that for whatever reason I feel like the quality of that commentary was not good enough for my channel, just because I could not. I felt like the game didn't have enough entertainment value, at least not that I could bring to it. But anyway, if you like this video, click that like button. If you want to see more, subscribe, and if you got a replay, be sure to check the description below for instructions on how to submit. And until next time, oh actually, I almost forgot the last thing. If you got any suggestions or comments on how I can make my videos or channel better, please put those in the comment section below. And until next time, this has been Spang, and I am signing off. MLG,